Greetings, everyone. Welcome again for the another episode of Business Application Automation, where we talk about that different use case, different scenario, how you can automate your business processes depending on different scenarios. So on every session, we take one use case and we define what are the tools and technologies we can use to automate that particular process. Okay, so we are today back with another one. So let me share my screen, and here. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Sandeep, can you
Yeah.
please confirm?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So today we are going to talk about that how we can automate customer document, how we can automate the archival of the customer document. So in when in every business, when we work with different type of customers, we there are many documents that we receive from customer, and then we keep track of those documents and we put them on a centralized location. So this is the use case for today that we are going to talk about. So we'll start with the basic introduction of our use case, and then we will discuss that what is potential proposed solution for this use case, how we can automate it. Of course, there could be different scenarios, there could be different ways to automate it, but from our side, that could be the proposed solution that we can use for automating that. Okay, so we will discuss about the Gmail connector. So we will discuss how we can utilize a Gmail connector to work with the email and get their documents. And then we will discuss about the Power Automate, so that will be working as a workflow engine to connect these Gmail documents and getting that email and getting that attachment for us. And then we will discuss about the Excel connector, to let's say, for example, when we are getting some email, we have some attachment, when we are putting that on some location, maybe we want to record some details, like when we received this document, from which customer we received this document. So this type of details we can store on a centralized Excel file with the details that is required for our business. And then Google Drive, and this is another connector that we are going to talk about, which is basically we are using to put our document on a centralized location on the Google Drive. Okay, and then we'll see demo. So we'll what are all these connectors, how we can use them. So we will see on that demo here. So before jumping on the main topic, let's have a quick introduction about ourselves. So myself, Mahender, and I have my friend Sandeep Mishra with me. So we both are Microsoft MVP as well as CSharpCorner MVP. So we have been working with the, this Microsoft technology, Microsoft stacks. It's more than 10 years now. So we yeah. So that's a quick introduction about ourselves. So let's jump into our main topic. Yeah. So as I said, that today use case is that when we are working with different type of customers, and in every project we require a different type of documents, right? And that's sometimes that document we are getting from customer over the emails, right? So they are sending emails, and in those emails they are attaching those documents which is required for our business. Okay, and depending on the different scenarios, different requirements. So it can be that it may be that for some kind of audit purpose, or there are some compliances that you need to fulfill for your company. We need to put all these documents on a centralized location, so we need to do archival of these documents. And of course, when we are putting these documents on a specific location, we need to make sure that it is not unnecessary accessed by everyone. Okay, so for example, if I am the account manager for particular customer, so maybe I just want to make sure that nobody else is able to access those documents, because those documents may have some kind of uh, secured information, or maybe there are some financial information that is there that I don't want to expose to other users, okay, the other members who are working on projects. So that could be the different requirement where we want to manage our customer document securely and in a centralized place, right? So it could be different depending on that what type of resources you have. Maybe you want to put it on some server, maybe you want to put on some cloud, right? And in the cloud you want to put it on the OneDrive, or you want to put it on the Google Drive, depending on that. If maybe you have some other Azure location where you want to put these documents. Okay, so today we are going to show that how when we are using these connectors, that we are going to discuss next. Using these connectors, when we are getting that email, how we can fetch that email details, how we can extract that attachment that is part of the email, and then we can place them on the centralized location, and how we can fetch the detail that is part of the email. Okay, so these type of thing, that is the use case for today. And of course, when we are putting the document on a specific location, we want to, as I said, that it should be secure, it should be easily accessible. So for example, when we place that document there and later on I want to refer that document, so it should be easy for me to access that document and refer it whenever I need it for any kind of referring any kind of detail that is part of that document. Okay, so those type of thing that is basically required when we do this kind of implement this kind of system to archive these document for that we are getting from our customer. Okay, so that's the use case for today. So as I said that there could be different potential solution for that, but according to us, that could be one of the proposed solution here. So we are basically today you are here using the first thing that we are using Gmail connector. So this we are using for the email communication. So in earlier sessions we demonstrated how we can use Outlook connector for the email communication, but here today we are going to use the Gmail connector. So this connector we will be using for that getting that email. And then the Power Automate is basically the workflow engine that will help us to coordinate between these connectors, passing that data between these connectors that we are fetching and getting from these connectors. And then we will be using Excel online, that basically for recording the details that is from the email, maybe the date or name of the customer. So those type of thing, for that we will be using here Excel. And Google Drive is the centralized location where we will be placing that document after the extraction from the email. So this is the proposed solution, but of course depending on your requirement, depending on your business scenario, that can you can have some kind of another layer on that, or maybe you have some kind of another connector that you can use. But in a simple way, these are the possible connectors that we can use to the building this archival system. Okay, so first thing, Gmail connector. So connectors are very much used when we are working on the Power Automate. Okay, so Power Automate basically help us to connect with the different application which is basically cloud application. Those are from Microsoft or non Microsoft applications. So for example, this is a Gmail is a Google application, right? So in the Power Automate, we have a connector which we can use for fetching that details or performing different tasks on the Gmail. So as you can see here that we have a trigger. So basically when new email arrives, so if you will connect so of course when you select the connector, you need to do the connection first. Okay, so you provide the detail, you authenticate that okay you are a valid user, so you provide those details, and then it is connected to your email, right? So basically the Gmail account, when it is connected, then you can use this trigger. So whenever you will get email into your Gmail account, automatically your automation will start, right? And After that, you can see that we have a different type of action that is available here. So whether you want to reply to some email, you want to send email, delete email, or get the email details, so whatever, the detail that is coming along that email, the body of the email, subject of the email, who is the sender, if and there are some attachments, so you want to get those attachment. So those kind of action that is available under the Gmail connector. Okay, so we can use this connector to work with the emails that is coming into your Gmail account. Okay, so you need to connect with this connector, and after that we can utilize these actions and trigger to get the data from our Gmail account. Now, Power Automate. So our main focus for the automation is utilizing this workflow tool. So this is basically a Microsoft Cloud workflow a tool that help us to automate our task. Okay, so we have different type of variations that is for the Power Automate. So in our, so we mostly all our session that we have done so far, we are talking about that Microsoft Power Automate cloud application, where we can build our cloud workflows and we can connect with Microsoft and non-Microsoft application using connectors. So if there are connector available, we can utilize them. If there is no connector available, of course we can build our own connector and for our purpose, and also we can publish it so that other user can also use it. So it's like kind of a we can have a marketplace on the Microsoft marketplace, where we can publish our connector, and then other users can utilize that connector to connect that particular application that we are targeting into our connector, right? But we have lots of connectors here, thousands of connector that is available. These are like more in the Microsoft stack. We can see like Office 365 or Dynamics application, or share point, or any business application. Most of thing that we can easily connect using the Power Automate. Okay, so, and because we are using Gmail connector, so that is also there, we can utilize that for the automation. Okay, now Excel Online. So Excel Online is basically a another connector that is part of the Power Automate. We can utilize this to create our Excel file, or fetch the data from Excel file, or perform different type of action that you can see here. This is a huge list here that we can perform on that Excel connector using that Excel connector. Okay, so let's take an example that maybe we are, when we are getting that email, we want to make a note of that. Okay, what is the subject of the email, when we received it, and who is the customer from where we are getting this email. If this is just an example, that if we want to keep track of these and we want to prepare a centralized file where we can store this type of detail, so we are using Excel connector here. So we can use that to create file, update that record onto that file, and if you want to fetch the data, we can also fetch the detail from that Excel file. So this is another way to storing our data on a centralized location. So we are using Excel Online here. Okay, so another one, the another connector that we are going to use is the Google Drive. Okay, so as I said, that when you want to extract that attachment from the email, you want to store it to some place, right? Whether it could be your system, so that is basically the location of your server or your internal system that is part of your organization, you want to store it there. But in that case, you will have a limited way of accessing it, right? So you need to be be in the office and you want to access that file, then you can do that. But if you want to make sure that when I put the document, I want to make sure that I can access it from any location. So let's say if I'm not in office, okay, so I'm traveling, or maybe I'm in client location and I want to access those document, right? So in that case, I want to put that on a cloud, right? And that cloud could be different here. So it could be, Microsoft cloud, it could be any other Microsoft vendor, non Microsoft cloud. Or for example, here today we are talking about that Google Drive. So this is another cloud, uh, you know where we can keep our document on a centralized location, and we can access it from any place. You don't need to be in the office. So while you are traveling, or you are in a client side, or you are, out of office or out of station, at any point of time, if you want to refer the document, you can easily refer that from the Google Drive. Okay. So you can see here that we have a different type of action that is part of the Google Drive connector. So we can create our file, so we can get that, file, and delete those files, all the most of the action that is, required when you want to work on the file, that is part of the Google Drive here. Okay. So this is, we can utilize this to work with our, Gmail connector. But if we are not using Gmail connector, let's say we are using Outlook connector to, fetch that email and attachment, in that case also we can get the data and put it there. So it's not like we need to, because we are using Gmail connector, then we need to use the Google Drive only. So we can use that non Microsoft connectors easily to communicate between these, application, and passing the data back and forth. And that's the beauty of the Power Automate. It allows us, it helps us to communicate between different applications, whether they are part of the Microsoft or they are not part of the Microsoft stack. So we can easily connect them with each other. Okay. So that's what, here for the Google Drive. Now let's see that how we can utilize these connected to build that, this customer document archival system. The documents that we are getting from the customer, how we can put them on a centralized location using these connector. So I will jump, pass mic to my friend Sandeep, and he will showcase the demo, all the steps that we discuss, all the connector that we discussed so far. So Sandeep, over to you.
So thank you, Mahender, for your wonderful content. Let me share my screen and just confirm if you are able to see.
Yeah,
Share
yeah.
screen. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So as Mahender explained, in some of the businesses, what we need, that sometimes we need document which is coming on email to store somewhere. So in future, whenever we want to access that document, we will able to access those uh, in a structured way. So most common scenario we can take, like if you are in a CA business, every month we need some kind of documentation like bank statement or company document, and we can't miss those documents. We need to store those documents somewhere, so whenever required, you can go and check it. So that's the scenario we are using. And in this case, we are using the most used email system, and that is Gmail. So if you are getting documents on Gmail, how you can uh, download those documents and store in Google Drive. So I just created a simple flow where the trigger point will be when email arrives, when you will receive email, like the person who wants to store document, like the either CA or whoever professional. So when email arrives on your Gmail, the first thing you will do, that you will get the client data from Google Sheet. Why? Because you don't want to store each and every document. So you have some client list. So for some particular emails, you want, whenever email coming from those emails, then only you will download those document and store in Google Drive. Then you will check that if email has an attachment, because if there is no attachment, you don't need to run this flow. And if email in that particular list, in only that case you will store that file in client list, and you will also create a log. So in future, whenever you want to check that when you got that particular email, you will have that particular log. And if not, then we will just end the process. So this is the scenario we are going to use. So let me open Power Automate and I will create a new flow. So I'll go here. We'll take automated cloud flow and I will search here for Gmail as a trigger. So let me, so I will take this when email arrives. That's the trigger point. And then the next point is that we will take client information from Google Sheet. And for that, I already created a folder, and under that folder, I created a Google Sheet, and I added one client information. So based on that, like if you want to add more client information, that this is how you can add. I also added another sheet where we are going to add the log. So I created this sheet. This is how you need to prepare. And I also created a folder. So whenever we are receiving email from this particular client, from this particular email, we'll use this folder to store the documents. So this, and once you will able to do this, then we'll come here and we'll add Google Drive. So we need a connector from Google Drive to get a row, and we will select. So I will select the file I created in compliance folder. So I will go here and select this Google Sheet. So once I will select, it will also give us option to select the seat. If we have like 2 or 3 seats, that is what you will get in this drop down. So I will select the client. That is where I have the client information. The next thing you can see, that is row ID. So one thing you need to uh, care here whenever you are getting a row or updating a row in Google Drive, that whenever you will attach something in Power Automate, you will get this row ID. But if you go to this document, you will not able to see any column name with a row ID. But you will able to see this, the Power Apps ID. That is what row ID is. So whenever it is asking for like the give your row ID data, it means that whatever data you have in this particular column, that is what you need to provide there. So what I will do is I will just use the from email address, from where we are getting that email address, because that's the email address I want to use to get this particular record. So I will go here. Then the next step after this, that we will add a condition. So I will use this condition, and the condition will be like the item should be there. For example, so I will take this and will take the email address equal to the from email address. So I will use this from. So from email address should be equal to the item you are getting from this Google Sheet. The next we will add, that is email should has attachment. So I will add, like again we'll go here, we'll click on dynamic parameters, and then you can see we have these many options here. So we'll use this has attachment equal to, I will select true, and then we'll add it. The next thing is that we'll add another action, that is apply to each, because might be in that email we will have multiple attachments, and that's why we will use apply to each, and as an input we'll take attachments. Then the next thing is to create Google Drive, create a file in Google Drive. So I will use this create file, and then we'll give the path. So again I will select that folder compliance, But here we can't directly select this folder because what we need is we need to provide this value dynamically. So I will just use this. Just use. So I will just combine the both values, the static value we have for that folder, and then the variable client folder name. Instead of that, just dynamic value and the path. So now you can say like we are getting this static value and the path we are getting from this particular column. So we'll go back here and I will add. Then the file name, we can create, either we can directly use the file name we are getting from that particular attachment. So I will use this. So file name we can just get from the apply to its current item. Item and the name. Segment. We will take item from here. Then we'll question mark, and then we'll take the name. So this is how, like, from this item we will able to take the item name. We'll just remove that. Item name, and then content from that particular file. Let's see. So again, I will get from the item. So I will go here, select the item, question mark, and I will take the content bytes. Insert this, and we will save it. The next thing after this, we will create a log and we'll create in that Google Drive file. I will go here, insert row. I will select that path. And then again, I will select the seat. And then we will add date here. Might can take from dynamic parameters. Go here, receive date, subject, I will take subject, and the path I will take from here. get so I'll just save it. So you can see now what we are doing is when email arrives, we are getting the item and then we are creating a file and inserting a log here with the subject. So now what I will do is that I will just go here and send an email from this particular email address. Documents, I'm just so I sent an email. Let's be here. So let me test with this particular flow. So now when new email arrives, that is working, then we are getting row, then we are initializing a variable, and then it's matching the condition. Yeah, the file is created and then we inserted log here in this particular file. So you can see log is here. And if we go back to this particular folder and refresh this, you will able to see the document I attached in this particular email. So this is how this is totally based on the email address we are using. Even though email is coming from any email address, this flow is not going to run. It will only run for the email addresses we created and added in this particular client list. So this is how you can create a client list. And if you are getting emails from a particular email address, you can use this flow to archive those documents in a specific folder. With that, I am now going to hand over the stage to Mahender.
Hey Sandeep, thank you. Thank you for explaining this demo for that client archival system that we wanted to cover today. So, yeah, so thanks for joining us, and we will be back for the another episode where we will take another use case and we'll showcase how we can use Microsoft or non-Microsoft tools to automate your business processes. So stay tuned for the another episode, and you can watch all our existing sessions on the YouTube on CSharpCorner Live. So all the sessions are available there. So provide your feedback. And thanks for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.